8 of the Wakatake Class Destroyers were completed starting in 1920. Only one would survive World War II, the rest being sunk mostly by US submarines. These medium-sized destroyers were the last to be rated second class, with all subsequent destroyers of the IJN being larger. Though the Wakatakes were designed as an improved Momi class with a deeper draft to improve stability, one still managed to capsize itself during a storm in 1932. Karukaya had a relatively successful tour, setting a record for successfully completing 54 convoy escorts. It was promptly sunk by the USS Cod after achieving this milestone. Asageo survived the war, but unfortunately sank when she hit a mine in August of 1945. She was raised only to finally be scrapped in 1948. The class was armed with 4 torpedo tubes set up in pairs along with 3 120mm 45 caliber guns. At a tad under 36 knots, the Wakatakes had decent speed. In World Warships, the Wakatakes are a Tier 3 destroyer that have a lot to offer. In fact, of all ships in its tier, I would be willing to say that the Tox may be the best Tier 3 ship available. That's obviously debatable, but you'll for sure be seeing a lot of these around, especially now that Warships is in open beta mode. If you're new to the game, this ship is one worth checking out. Part of the key to the Tox's success are its torpedoes. While it doesn't have a massive armament and can only launch 2 pairs at a time, the torpedoes on the Tox replenish very quickly and have decent range and power, especially against ships in their tier class. Both the Type 44 and Type 6 torpedoes have a range of 7 clicks. This combined with a surface detectability of 6.1 clicks means you have the advantage and can fire while hidden. That's highly impressive for a low tier ship. The capabilities of the Tox have been further bolstered with the release of the 4.0 patch and the ability to use situation awareness almost immediately along with the new speed boosts. When I fire off torpedoes, I usually like to take my time. I'll fire a pair and then wait a few seconds before firing another pair. More often than not, the initial shots will scare the enemy, hurting them away. At this point, you can give chase, and as you close the gap, your torpedo tubes will ready once again. If you time it properly, you can unleash a steady barrage of torpedoes every 20 or 30 seconds. This is more than enough to cause havoc and disarray. Sadly, the guns on the Tox have much to be desired. They're extremely slow turning as well as slow to reload. I rarely use them, opting to focus mainly on firing torpedoes, which is really all you need to do with the Tox. The guns are essentially pea shooters and should be used only in the most dire situations. Most of the Tier 3 ships are used and discarded. They're merely small bumps in the road to greater things. However, the Wakatake is a little different. This ship is just plain fun to use. Among Tier 3 ships, she is an extreme threat. She remains a threat even against mid-tier ships and can represent a fun challenge if you want to duke it out with some 4s, 5s, and even Tier 6s. I'll keep my Wakatake. Her speed and quick torpedo reload time ensures you stay in the fight and have ammo to do so. When used effectively, you'll find that you can easily sink multiple ships in a round with ease. While the class might not have fared so well in real life, in World of Warships, the Wakatake is a low-tier gem that I think people will be willing to go back to and using long after unlocking most of the ships. Hope you enjoyed this look at the Wakatake. Be sure to sub for more. We've got a lot of ground, or water as it is, to cover. Hit me up on Twitter @ZoopGaming. Zoop out.